I still remember the way the sunlight streamed through the windows that morning. Warm and golden, like everything was still okay. I'd made pancakes his favorite, blueberry. I even remembered to drizzle a little honey on top, the way he liked. It's stupid, right? Smiling as I flipped them in the pan, humming some old song from the radio, thinking about absolutely nothing suspicious or heartbreaking. Just ... life. I thought I had a good life. Not perfect, but good enough. Married to Daniel for 6 years, building a future, saving for a house, dreaming about kids. We'd even started talking baby names a few weeks ago. He wanted something classic, like James or Emily. I leaned more. Toward unique ones, Ariel, maybe Ezra. We argued playfully about it. He laughed and said, we had time. I didn't realize he'd been spending that time with her, my sister. God, just saying that sentence in my head makes my stomach twist. My own blood. My little sister, who I practically raised after Mom died and Dad shut down. I taught her how to do her makeup, how to deal with her first period, held her hand through heartbreaks, paid part of her college tuition when she got behind. I loved her. And Daniel? I thought he was different. Loyal. Kind. The kind of man who brings you tea when you're sick. Who knows your Starbucks order by heart. Who kisses your forehead when he thinks you're asleep. How can a man like that also be a liar? A cheat? A traitor? You always hear about things like this. It's on talk shows, trashy TV dramas, viral Reddit posts. You shake your head, maybe gasp, then move on. You never think you'll be the one in the story. You never think your life will become the cautionary tale. It's whispered behind closed doors. But it happened to me, and it all started with a stupid phone. I wasn't snooping. I swear I wasn't. I trusted him. But his phone dinged that morning while he was in the shower, and I glanced over out of habit, just a glance. Just enough to see a name on the screen that made my breath catch in my throat. Emilia, my sister's name. With a kiss emoji ... At first, I told myself it was nothing. Maybe a joke. Maybe she was being her usual flirty self-harmless. She'd always been more open, more free, more ... reckless. But then another message popped up right below it, and my hands went cold. While I'm so lost, I'll be all like in a riot, a wire I ain't gonna, I will like my, why, when, why would I will, I will, where I, will, I, I don't even remember how I moved. My body felt disconnected, like I was watching someone else pick up the phone, scroll through the messages, read the photos. God. The photos. Her lips on his neck, his hands on her hips. Their bodies tangled in bed sheets I recognized as mine. Couldn't breathe. I dropped the phone like it was on fire and stumbled backward, hitting the kitchen counter. The pancakes started to burn, the smell thick and bitter, matching the taste in my mouth. I turned off the stove mechanically, staring at the phone like it might apologize, like it might rewind time. He came out of the shower just a minute later, toweled around his waist, whistling, like nothing was wrong, like my whole world wasn't crumbling beneath my feet. I just stood there, phone still in my hand, frozen. He stopped mid-step when he saw my face. "Babe?" he said, brow furrowing, water dripping from his hair. "What's wrong?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. I held up the phone and waited. His face changed immediately. He went pale. Lips parted, then closed. No excuses, no lies. Just silence. That silence was louder than any scream. You... ... with her. I finally choked out. Her, Daniel. He ran a hand through his wet hair, opened his mouth again, but still nothing. Just a pathetic shake of his head, then a whisper. I didn't mean for it to happen. Didn't mean for it to happen, like he tripped and fell into her. Like it was an accident, not months of deceit, not nights of secret texts. Stolen moments, sweaty sheets and soft moans exchanged behind my back. I was shaking. My whole body was trembling like a leaf in the wind, and my legs barely held me up. I backed away from him, bumping into the counter again, the cold granite biting into my spine. When I demanded, voice cracking, "How long, Daniel?" He looked at the floor. That silence again. Then, since March. For months. 4. And I hadn't suspected a thing. I thought he was working late or tired or stressed. I thought Amelia was just visiting more often because she missed me. God, we even had dinner together. All 3 of us. Laughing, drinking wine. I was so blind. I was going to tell you, he said softly, as if that made it better. I didn't want to hurt you, I laughed. A short, sharp, bitter sound. Well, congratulations. You did. I don't remember much after that. Just blurry motion. Me grabbing my purse, my keys. Him following, pleading. Me slamming the door so hard the walls shook. I drove to my friend Hannah's place, almost ran a red light on the way. My hands were numb, my eyes were dry. Too dry. Like they were in shock too. Hannah opened the door and took one look at me before pulling me into her arms. I collapsed. Fully, completely. The sobs started then, wild and choking, and they didn't stop for hours. She didn't ask questions, just held me, stroked my hair, whispered, "I've got you. You're safe. Let it out." It took 2 days before I could talk about it. 2 days of silence, staring at the ceiling, avoiding my phone. Amelia tried to call. I didn't answer. She texted long messages filled with fake apologies, explanations, twisted logic. It wasn't supposed to happen. We were drunk. I didn't mean to betray you. I didn't read most of it, just stared. At her name on my screen, the same name I'd lovingly stitched into a quilt for her 18th birthday. The same name I'd cheered for at her graduation. My sister, how do you process that kind of betrayal? How do you grieve someone who's still alive but dead to you? Daniel tried to, left voicemails, said he missed me, that it was a mistake, that he still loved me, that we could go to counseling. Try again. I deleted them all. Love doesn't do what he did. One evening, I sat in Hannah's backyard with a blanket around my shoulders, staring at the stars. They looked the same, untouched, pure. I wondered if the universe even noticed when people broke like this, when hearts shattered so loud you thought the sky would split. I asked myself, was it me? Was I not enough? Did I stop being exciting? Was I too boring? Too predictable? Did Amelia make him feel young again? Wild? But then I remembered all the ways I was there. The nights I stayed up waiting for him. The meals I cooked. The support I gave. The dreams I put on hold. I realized it. Wasn't me. It was them. Their weakness. Their lies. Their choices, not mine. The worst part, I still loved him. Some broken, aching part of me still hoped it was all a nightmare. That I'd wake up and hear him snoring beside me. That he'd pull me close and mumble, "Good morning, beautiful." But dreams like that don't survive reality. And reality was that I had to start over alone. Without him. Without her. Without the future I'd imagined for 6 years. The following weeks felt like walking through glass barefoot. Every step hurt. Every breath stung. But I kept moving. Because what else was I supposed to do? Curl up and die? Let them win. Let her win. No, I wasn't going to give them that power. I stayed at Hannah's place longer than I planned. I couldn't go back home, not to the apartment where their betrayal still lingered in the sheets, on the couch and the walls. I could still picture her lipstick on the wine glass from that night we all sat together, playing charades. I remembered laughing so hard I had to wipe tears from my eyes. How long had they been touching under the table? How many of those smiles were fake? I finally went back after 2.5 weeks when Hannah gently asked if I wanted to start sorting things out. Not in a pushy way, just ... softly, like she knew I needed to reclaim something, like my life, my dignity. The apartment was exactly how I left it. except colder, emptier. There was a silence to it now that I couldn't quite describe. Not peaceful, or like abandoned, haunted. The bedroom was the worst. I stood at the doorway for 5 whole minutes, heart pounding, stomach turning. The bed was still unmade. The same sheets. The same pillow where I used to rest my head beside him. The same blanket he probably held her under. It felt like an open wound. I didn't cry this time. I stripped the bed in silence, pulled every sheet, pillowcase, and comforter off, and stuffed them into garbage bags. I didn't even want to touch them. I bleached the mattress twice, opened all the windows, lit every candle I could find, scrubbed the bathroom floor, the walls, the mirror. I was erasing them, or at least trying. Then I found her necklace. It was tiny gold, with a little moon pendant. I'd given it to her on her birthday 2 years ago. She said it reminded her of Uzme the sun, her the moon. I picked it up with trembling fingers and held it in my palm. It was warm. It's probably from the sunlight hitting the window, but in my mind, it still carried the heat of her betrayal. I wanted to smash it instead. I buried it in the trash that night. I didn't sleep in my bed. I lay on the couch, curled up in a blanket, listening to the fan spin slowly overhead, creaked every few seconds. It's like an old clock counting down the moments since everything fell apart. I kept thinking about when we first moved in. Daniel had carried me across the threshold, laughing, even though I told him he didn't have to. We were so young then, so full of promises. I remember the way he looked at me that day, like I was the only thing that existed. The way he whispered, "I can't believe I get to spend the rest of my life with you." Lies. All of it. Or maybe just... That's the worst part of betrayal, I think. Not the act itself, but how it taints every memory. Nothing feels safe anymore. Not even the good parts. Especially not the good parts. 2 days later, saw Amelia. She showed up without warning, stood right outside my apartment like she had the right. Her eyes were puffy, makeup smeared, hair unbrushed. For a second I saw the little girl I used to tuck in at night. But only for a second, sis, she whispered, voice cracking. "Can I talk to you?" I didn't answer, just stared at her. "I know I messed up. I know. What I did was unforgivable," she continued, eyes brimming. "But I didn't come to defend myself. I came to tell you. I'm sorry, and I love you. I always have." My chest tightened. It's that word, love. It sounded dirty coming from her mouth. I crossed my arms. "You loved me while sleeping with my husband?" She flinched as if the words slapped her. "I was lonely," she said. "You had everything. The job, the home, him. I felt forgotten." I blinked. "So you decided to take what was mine?" "No," she cried. "It wasn't like that. I didn't plan it. It just happened. Don't you dare," I said, my voice low, trembling. "Don't you dare insult me with that cliché. Didn't just happen. You made choices." Message. Every touch. Every lie. You chose him again and again. Tears spilled from her eyes. "I lost you. I know I did." I shook my head slowly. "No, Amelia, you didn't lose me. You threw me away," she sobbed then, real ugly crying. The kind that racks the body. For a brief moment, I wanted to reach out, but I didn't. I couldn't. Because love, no matter how deep, has limits when laced with betrayal. "I hope it was worth it," I whispered. "I hope he was worth it." She opened her mouth, then closed it. Her silence said everything. I shut the door in her face after that. I blocked both of them, phones, emails, socials. I didn't want to see their life, their mess. Whether they stayed together or burned out didn't matter anymore. I was done being a spectator in my own pain. Healing wasn't linear. Some days I felt strong, like I could take on anything. Others, I crumbled from the inside out. I'd cry over dumb things. Like the coffee mug he got me last Christmas, or the photo of Amelia and me at a concert. I threw that one out. I couldn't bear to look at it anymore. But bit by bit, I reclaimed myself. I signed up for yoga, not because I liked it, but because it forced me to breathe. I started therapy, Sat in a quiet room every Tuesday and spilled my guts to a woman who didn't flinch when I told her I felt broken. She said, "You're not broken. You're just grieving a betrayal." That line stuck with me, grieving a betrayal. It made it sound almost human, like I wasn't stupid or weak, just hurting. Eventually I went back to work. People asked questions. Where had I been? Was I okay? What happened? I told them I'd been sick, which was true in a way. Heartbreak is a sickness, one that infects every inch of your soul before it begins to heal. But you do heal. I did. One morning, I looked in the mirror and saw something I hadn't seen in a long time. Me, not the wife, not the sister, just me. A woman who had survived. Helen was still standing. A few weeks later, I donated Daniel's clothes. The ones he left behind. His jackets, his stupid sports tees, even the hoodie I used to steal when I was cold. I kept one thing, the small torn notebook with our first house plan sketched in the margins. Not because I missed him. Because I wanted to remember that even dreams fall apart sometimes, and still we rebuild. It's been 7 months now. 7 long, aching, stretching months. Sometimes it feels like a lifetime ago, other times I can still hear the echo of that message tone. See the kiss emoji on his screen. Feel the floor drop out from under my feet. But I'm still here. I don't flinch at the word sister anymore. I don't cry when I pass our favorite Thai place on 6th Street. I don't feel hollow when I crawl into bed alone at night. I sleep with peace now. That's a kind of wealth no betrayal can steal. But I won't lie to you. Healing didn't come wrapped in forgiveness. People always say that, don't they? That you have to forgive to move on. That holding on to anger poisons you. Maybe that's true, but I'm not angry anymore. I'm done. And maybe that's more powerful than forgiveness. Maybe letting go isn't about pardoning someone who wronged you. It's about reclaiming your own damn life. Still, I do wonder sometimes, do they still talk? Did their little affair survive the wreckage they caused? Is she happy? Is he? It doesn't matter, I remind myself. Their choices say more about them than they ever did about me. But still sometimes. Late at night I let my mind wander to that alternate universe. The one where they never met. Or where they did, but kept their hands to themselves. Where Daniel. And I have a little girl named Ezra with his eyes in my laugh. Where Amelia is still the one I call first when something funny happens. Where Sunday dinners are filled with loud stories, bad karaoke, and no cracks under the surface. But that world is fiction now, and mine? Mine is real, raw, scarred, but whole. About a month ago, I met someone new. His name is Noah. I didn't mean to meet him, I wasn't looking. I was just buying a book at this little secondhand shop on Main, and he asked if I'd read. The author before, we talked for 10 minutes, then 20, then an hour. I didn't tell him anything heavy. Just my name, what I do, what books I like. I didn't mention Daniel, or Amelia, or betrayal, just the light stuff. It felt strange and refreshing, like I was trying on a new dress that actually fit. We got coffee the next week, and again. The week after that, I don't know where it's going. I'm not in a rush. I'm not desperate to fill the void Daniel left behind, because here's the truth. I learned the hard way. I was never the one missing something. They were my love wasn't the problem. My loyalty wasn't flawed. My trust wasn't a mistake, it was a gift. One they mishandled, misused, and ultimately destroyed. But that doesn't make me weak. It makes them fools. I don't talk to my father much, but I called him a few weeks ago, just to check in. We don't say much to each other, I never really have. But he surprised me when he said, "Your mother would be proud of how strong you are." Nearly cried. Not because of Daniel or Amelia, but because somewhere in this cold world, someone saw me. Really saw me. And that meant something. I don't want revenge anymore. I don't want apologies. I don't want explanations or confessions or dramatic makeup scenes. I want peace. I want me. And slowly, day by day, I'm getting there. I redecorated the apartment. Got rid of every trace of them. New paint, new curtains, new energy. Even started painting against something I hadn't done in years. Turns out I'm still good at it. I painted a canvas with 2 women standing back to back. One with a dagger, In her hand, the other with a bleeding heart. Guess which one was me. But here's the thing. I painted the woman with the bleeding heart smiling. Because she survived. That painting hangs above my bed now. Not to remind me of the pain, but to remind me of the strength it took to walk through it. I don't think I'll ever forget what happened. I don't think I'll ever look at Amelia the same way if I ever see her again. But I don't hate her. That would require energy I no longer care to give. I just... released her. Like smoke in the wind. As for Daniel, I heard through a mutual friend that he moved cities. Good. Let someone else deal with his cowardice. Let someone else be the next tragic story if he hasn't changed. I hope he does, honestly. Not for me. For whoever comes after. But me? I'm no longer the woman who needed to be chosen. I'm the woman who chooses herself. And damn, that's the best love story I've ever known.